So it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been researching and I've been away a little bit. So I want to do an update on the 100K portfolio. Here are some of the strategies for today. Um, the ones that have traded today are stock index swing. It's been long since yesterday. We had a lot of volatility last week and then more trends this week. So last week was just a week where it was just up and down, and this week it's more of a straight line trend in wide ranges, which works out well. So last week was a loser for us, and this week was a winner, recovering a lot of last week's losses. And you see stock index swing, we had a trade last week where it gapped down, hit the stop loss overnight, had a bigger stop than our stop loss, and that happens in this strategy. And then we're on our third winner in a row. We're long from 1940, some volatility earlier today, and we're about 7 points away from our profit target at 1960. If we don't get there, we'll exit at 4 o'clock. This also has a 20-point stop loss, so if this market reverses and goes down to 1920, we'll be stopped out. So that's the trade that we're in today, as well as gap fill rank, and that's taken two short trades in a row. So we're able to capitalize on the move down by about 4 points. We had a 4-point profit target, so we capitalized on that. Our strategies went flat because we were long swing trade, and then we were short. We went short at the open, and then we covered here, which got us long again at 4 points better. So it's like we were trading stock index swing, and we exited and then got back in 4 points lower. So that's how that works when you trade strategies with different directions, different opposing positions in different directions. You still take the same trades, and you might go flat if they're both one's long, one's short, but you still get the same results. And so that's what happened today for gap fill rank and the stock index swing. And so we're going to take a look at the portfolio calculator now. We're taking a look at the latest results of the 100K portfolio, and here we are. We're down for the month. We had a lot of volatility last week and the week before that, and our swing return strategy, one of those that we added in July, got chopped up quite a bit, bought all the way down. But this is just the results of our original strategy that we released in May. So we released this portfolio in mid-May, and this time frame back here. So it's had a pretty profitable walk forward results. And then it's had a drawdown, and we came in and we had a worst case drawdown by about $250, because here was the worst case drawdown at this point in 85.33, and now we're at a new worst case drawdown at 87.84, and that was on Monday. And we've had a bounce back since Monday of about $3,700. So our current drawdown is 51.12, and so the difference between these two is about $3,600. And we're down about 3,700 on the month with the original 100K portfolio. In July, we added 3 strategies. Now this one, swing return, was a long only strategy. It was QE based, and QE ended earlier this month, and that would have been a good time to stop trading this strategy. So the results on this strategy provided really a big drawdown for us. To keep it in this portfolio, the money management algorithm actually shut it off, and so this is the results of keeping this strategy in. Worst case drawdown 11,342, and the previous worst case drawdown was 75.42, so about $4,000 more drawdown. This strategy was responsible for some big losses, and recommend removing that strategy. The money management algorithm has shut it off, and it's QE. It's a QE based strategy, so don't really want to trade that anymore. Not a huge fan of QE, but with a decreased volatility, this strategy works great. So keep it on the shelf, and we bring it back if QE4 comes back, or other government policies or activities come back to that resemble QE. That let us buy dips in low volatility markets, and we don't want to buy all the way down like we did last week, and so we'll remove that strategy. If you remove that strategy, you could trade the original strategy with just the 22 systems, or keep the additional 2 systems, 24 systems, and that portfolio it came close to a worst case drawdown, 75, 96, 75. That's actually a worst case drawdown. The one before that was 75, 42. So it came down and made a $54 worst case drawdown on Monday, and then it's bounced back by about uh, $3,700 as well. The difference between those two, real quick, is about $3,700, and so there's been a bounce back. The monthlies are not as bad, and we're coming into the last week of the month, and you can see the consistency over time, and it's been a tough month. But we're coming into the last week of the month, and a lot of times the last week provides good results with the extra ranges and trends as allocations are made. And so those are the options with the 100K portfolio. You can trade, definitely take out the swing return, long only QE based strategy. The money management algorithm has shut it off. And then you can either trade these two additional strategies or not and go with the original portfolio. Other modifications you can make, and the ones I'm looking at, or to remove a few strategies. These two strategies right here have underperformed and don't trade that often. And then you've got DAX Cobra, which the money management algorithm has shut off as well. And here is the portfolio with those 21 strategies. The beauty of this is the amount of capitalization that it requires. See, here are the results with those 21 strategies. And the worst case drawdown from the past still holds through this week with those strategies. And so you've got this worst case drawdown back here of 71.13, and this week it made a worst case drawdown of 67.96. And so that's the modification that you could make to trade those 21 strategies. This month it's down 14.11. Today we are up about 900 as we speak. And so looks like we're going to potentially recover for the month, and we'll see what happens next week. And this portfolio is in a $3,100 drawdown, so it's had a $4,000, actually a $3,700 bounce back as well since the low of 67.96. So that's the update on different modifications you can make. Again, if you trade at Ninja, they have low margins. Here's a list of the margins between different brokers. Ninja, you could trade this portfolio. It says with 27K, but since we're in a drawdown, that goes down to 24.5. And then if you remove a DAX margin, and you can do that because DAX Night Trader trades at night and it gets out before the others strategies start trading. You could trade this portfolio, this 21 system portfolio, with about 20K. And here's a list of the margins. Ninja Trader has lowered the margins, and you can see here's some old Ninja margins, and they've updated it. So crude oil is 1,000 instead of 1,500. Gold went to 1,000 instead of 2,000. And so those lower the capital requirements. Don't encourage you to load up on as many contracts as you have margin money for, but it requires less capital deposit in your futures account to trade a portfolio when you have the opportunity to trade with lower margins. And so you can look at other brokerage margins. TradeStation, if you paste that in here, you can see the margins requirements. It's 63,000. You could trade it with about 60K because of the drawdown minus the DAX margin, so with about 55K you could start trading it. These strategies with Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers has the most conservative approach, and the margins are, the capital requirement for that is 82K. Again, it's about 75K with the current drawdown, and if you remove a DAX margin. And so one new strategy I'm excited about is Cobra Crude on Brent. I took Cobra Crude and I changed the symbol to Brent Crude, and I haven't done much with Brent Crude. I haven't watched it much. I haven't traded much. I have delayed data on it because I have the European region, and I'll show you the results here. I changed the symbol. It doesn't have an at BRN. BRN is the base symbol for Brent Crude, and it's on ICE Europe. You need at least the European region which is $10 a month to get delayed data. And TradeStation doesn't have an @BRN continuous symbol, but you can create a custom future symbol @BRN equals 107XN for both data 1 and data 2. And I copied and pasted the Cobra Crude strategy to the window, and then I changed the symbol, and this is the performance summary that I got going back 1 year. And so I was pretty excited about that. That always validates further one strategy. We've had Cobra Crude around for a while, and it's made recent equity peaks, but when you also test another market that's similar, and that also does well, then it further validates the strategy. So I want to show you the results going back further in Brent Crude, so I'm going to pause the video and change the date. So going back to, I set the date to January of 2007, but it only goes to August of 2008. And you see the results. Cobra Crude tested on Brent, and you get 62,610. There's the drawdown, about $7,000. Here's the graphs. It's done really well this year, like we looked at in the previous section, and you see the results. This is with $25 round turn slippage commission. Again, I've never traded Brent Crude, and so it's a market I'll be studying more and trading more in the future with these results. With Cobra Crude, placing the Cobra Crude strategy on Brent, and then without any changes getting these kinds of results. And one thing to note is that all the profits pretty much are on the long side. You see the difference between the long and the short trades, and that makes sense. This market, for the most part, since 2008, has been in an uptrend, and last several months, you could say a lot of this year it's down on the year, but even though it's down on the year, we've captured some nice moves, mainly on the long side. So that's the results of Brent Crude. If you're looking to trade another market, it requires an ICE subscription if you want real-time quotes plus the European region. So that's the update. It's been a while again, so I will keep you guys more updated as I have in the past. And that's the update on the 100K portfolio. We'll have more updates next week. Almost done with the Ninja conversion on the 100K portfolio, and we'll have more updates on that next